Okay, I'm going to run you through a couple of the resources that are available for you on the school's public drive. So if you go into the public drive, go to Nicole Cross, Research Project 2017. We're looking at the folio, and I would like you please to have a look at the Planning and Preliminary Research folder. Within this folder there's a whole range of resources that may or may not be useful for you. Remember that the folio is very individual. What is in your folio might be very different from what's in someone else's. A good place to start, however, is with exploring the topic. So this PDF is, I'll just make that a bit smaller, is a few pages of documents that help you to develop a research question. When you know what your topic is going to be, write it in here obviously. What you can then do is start to think using the 5 W's and how. So who, what, where, when, why and how. So it might, for example, be a topic for me of oceans, and then it might be talking about who is protecting animals within the ocean, what is involved with shark culling. Yes, I'm back on my shark culling topic. Whereabouts in Australia does shark culling occur? When has shark culling been an issue within Australia? Why are sharks culled? How does it happen? Etc. So you write down questions around the topic. Strategy 2 helps you think about thematic questions. So looking at an event or a situation, for example, you might be interested in the moon landing, and then you answer questions or you develop questions such as who was involved, what caused it, what happened or developed, what was the result, and that might help you develop a question around that particular topic. A particular concept, a person or an issue, and they all have prompt questions for you there as well. The next is a method using, as it says down the side here, prediction, probability, possibility, and imagining. So who will, what will, when will, where will, why will, etc. And if you were going to use the shark topic again, you could have something like the possibility. Who can predict what's going to happen with regards to shark numbers in the ocean? What can happen if sharks are culled and there are no more sharks in the ocean? When can governments control or legislate for shark culling? Where can shark culling occur? Why can we cull sharks from the ocean? Whatever it happens to be, I'm not entirely sure. I didn't give you a good example on that one. Then you can complete your focus question by using a focus statement. So I am researching shark culling because I want to find out what impact this is going to have on our oceans in order to help my audience understand whether or not this is a good idea. Okay. The K&R chart helps you then explore your topic a little bit more. What do I already know about the topic? What do I need to find out about the topic? What resources do I need? And notice that there's a whole range of different resources there. There's not just the internet. So using a variety and a range of resources and research methods is really important as well. We then have exploring the topic, so brainstorming and mind mapping, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with, using your topic in the middle and then exploring different aspects of it. One of the other ways that we do that in Research Project, I'll just close this one down. One of the other ways that we do that in Research Project, which you should be very familiar with, is the Lotus Diagram. So this is an example of the Lotus Diagram, and you simply put your main topic into the middle. You put some exploration type topics. How many sharks are being culled into the coloured boxes. Transfer it out to there, and you can then have additional questions around that topic. So the numbers of sharks being culled, what is going to be the impact of losing sharks in our oceans. Helps if you can spell. Are shark numbers decreasing as a result of culling? So this is just a way of you exploring your topic in a little bit more detail. What is happening in New South Wales versus WA, because that's the two places where shark culling is occurring, and you continue around on your topic like that. You might have why we need to cull sharks. Do we need to cull sharks? Could be another one that you then put elsewhere. Okay. Apex predators. I mean, and these are just completely off the top of my head. You don't have to have every box filled at this time. What I would suggest though is that when you are filling in these white boxes around the outside, that you are filling them as questions and not just single words. By filling them in as questions, you're giving yourself somewhere to go. You can look at the Lotus diagram and you can use it as a tool to help you with your research. So if you work on your shark culling research project and you get stuck and you think, oh, I can't do anything else, you go back to one of these areas and you go, well, I haven't looked at that aspect yet. I can now start to look at that. Or I haven't looked at, whatever happens to be in this box over here. I can now start to look at that. So it also becomes a bit of a research tool for you as well. That's the Lotus diagram. The next one in here that I would like to show you and that I would like you to use and develop for your folio yourself is a logbook. A logbook is simply a record of what you've done over the course of a lesson, along with a bit of planning for what you need to do. It's a really good one for your folio because it helps you hit a couple of performance standards straight on the head with regards to planning of your research. By including what do I need to do in future demonstrates your ability to plan where you're going. So in the logbook, I don't suggest you do this every single lesson, but I would like you to think about probably at least 3 or 4 times, so you've maybe got a couple of pages to choose from for your folio, writing an in-depth type of logbook like I have here. You'll notice also that I've color-coded some parts of the logbook. That's because I've used that as a guide when it comes to looking at the performance standards. I've also broken on the performance standards sheet. Each of the specific features is highlighted with a colour. So where I've got a refine my topic in green, refinement of the topic is a performance standard, and I've highlighted that in green. Everything that's in my folio related to refinement of my question, I've highlighted in green. Research methods and research development of the research on my performance standard sheet is in yellow. So I've highlighted in here to show that. Now what you would also need to do would be to include some kind of key on this page to make that clear to moderators that that's what you were doing. A logbook would be really good if you were doing, for example, one-on-one discussions with your teacher. That would also be great to have a record of in your logbook. Remember that you need to fit as much on the page as you can, because things like titles and headings and stuff, you don't get any grades for them. So minimize those as much as possible and just have everything on your page that you can be graded on. You want to get as much benefit from each page as possible. That's the logbook example. There's a template, but it's very, very basic. It's a table, guys. You can make a table. You can fill that in yourself. The next one that I would recommend is a bibliography. The reason that I would do a bibliography is so that you have a record of all of the sources that you go to. That way, when it comes to time to write up your outcome and you go, oh, there was that really good source, but I can't remember what it was, and you're never going to find it again. If you've got a bibliography, whether or not you use it in your folio at the end, it can be a useful research tool in that instance as well. Do note, however, that this is more than just a bibliography list, like a citation list at the end of a paper. The important part to this one is this column, the notes. This demonstrates that you've actually read and you've done something with that information. Okay, the rating, follow-up required, etc. Am I going to actually use this piece in my final outcome? That's the important part. If all you've got is a date and a website, all that demonstrates is your ability to cut and paste a URL into a Word document. But when you actually then make comments and notes about the source, whether or not it was useful, what aspect of your question it relates to, whether or not it's going to be included in your key finding areas, any follow-up that you need to do from it, etc., etc., that's a research development demonstration. I probably wouldn't have that as a page in my final folio unless there was a really good reason for it. Again, because really all you're showing the moderators is this, which is like what, a quarter of the page, I suppose. So you're putting in one whole page that you're only going to get marked on what's yours, what you've developed over a quarter of the page. The final thing that I think I would definitely include, if you can, in your folio is a preliminary research page. Now, a preliminary research page can be set up in a whole range of different ways. There's a couple of examples here. This one is for a topic on organic food sustainability, where I've got some possible websites, and again, to demonstrate that I've looked at these websites and haven't just cut and pasted them, I've actually made some comments about them. Some text journals doing a library search, and again, this is information from those, including some details about one of the authors that I've found, so demonstrating again that I've started to look at author credibility. I've thought about who I might possibly be able to interview or contact with regards to my topic, and I've got a screen capture, for example, of a website over here.